Hey guys, it's Will Chandler here, Guardian Fury. Um, I just got back from going to the Kingdom Hall for a Sunday Sunday service, worship, whatever the fuck they call it nowadays. If the language bothers you, I apologize, but I'm just being me. Um, I decided to go because I hadn't stepped foot in the Kingdom Hall since '95, maybe. Yeah, it's at least been since '95 since I stepped foot in the Kingdom Hall. And so some of my memories of it, weren't quite, fresh. Obviously, it's been a long time, right? And so I wanted to see for myself some of how they acted and just to see what it was like nowadays. And to my surprise, the hall I went to now it's consolidated, and it's definitely like there's four different kingdom halls or four different congregations that meet in the hall I went to, and it's a smaller kingdom hall. It's probably a third the size of the one I went to growing up. And so the seats were, I don't know, half full maybe. And I went down and sat out front. But I showed up, and there's fluorescent lights in there. One thing I don't know if I've mentioned is I got an eye injury in Iraq, and so I'm light sensitive, and the fluorescent wavelength is particularly hard on my retinas. So I go in there, with my this is the hat I always wear. I got my flag hat on, and of course I've got my infidel tab on the back. So I was in there wearing my flag hat with my infidel tab, and because of this fluorescent lighting, you know, this is how I was the whole time sitting in the meeting. And when I came in, it was funny to watch people's reactions to me, because they were like, who's this? They thought the devil was coming to get them. Because then another thing I thought was funny, is I had my sleeves rolled up, and so I've got my ink too on my arm. So I got the Reaper with a guardian angel tattoo. See if you can see that or not. But again, so the Reaper is quite visible on my arm, and so it was funny to watch people's reactions to that, right? Um, anyway, so they were nice enough. The whole love bombing thing, yeah, that exists. They would go to shake my hand and they'd see my arm, and I told a few of them I was talking to, like, sorry about the hat and the glasses, but I told them, got injured in Iraq, and I have to wear them now, especially in fluorescent lights. Anyway, so I it was kind of funny to watch their reactions to me, because I remember being a kid and I would have, because you're in that cult mind control that everyone that looks like me is some evil horrible person that's gonna like swallow you whole or something, like, and the antithesis of what the Bible teaches, because Jesus would have been hanging out with people like you and me. He was hanging out with the sinners. He was, for goodness sake, he had fishermen were the first people he took, right? He taught like cussing like a sailor and stuff. Like, come on, so they don't even realize what they're doing or saying half the time, in my opinion. Um, and so then they had a couple elders come and talk to me when I went and sat down, because I just went and sat down right in the front. And they wouldn't come up and say, "Hey, do you need anything? I'm gonna sit next to you." I was like, "No, I'm good, dude. I'm gonna sit here and you go do your thing." And then another one that I've talked to before came up and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna sit next to you." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool. Whatever you want to do, man. Like, do what you want. I'm gonna be sitting here. You do your thing. Like, that was cool. Like, no issue." And I was nice, respect for everybody. Um, and I just want to see how they acted to me. But it was funny because from the moment I walked in, people were eyeing me. And then at some point during the watchtower thing, uh, I went up and I said, "Hey," I leaned over to the guy next to me, the elder next to me. And I said, "Hey, do you have is a restroom up back, or where is it at?" I wasn't sure. Like I said, I'd never been in there before. He says, "Oh yeah, just go on the back on the left. Do you need me to walk you there?" And I was like, "No, dude, I can, you know, I can use the toilet by myself." He was worried I was going to do something. So as I was walking out of the hall there into the foyer where the bathroom is and stuff, I noticed one of the guys I had been to at a cart crash followed me into the foyer, trying to make it look sneaky, like. But I mean, I'm aware of my surroundings. For goodness sake, we were trained to know what was happening around us, let alone just it was obvious, you know. And so, and then when I come out of the bathroom, I see he's pretending to, like, all of a sudden he looks really quick, turns, he's pretending to read something on the board, on the bulletin board. And so I grab the door that's just past him and open it up and let it close. And he thinks that I've gone out the door at this point, and just turns around and goes and gets a drink of water and comes back towards me. While he was doing that, I wanted to see what he was looking at on the board to see if possibly I was being paranoid. And what he was intently studying on the board was, it was just had a couple dates on it, and it was like, nothing you would actually look at for any length of time. It would have been like in passing, okay, that's the date for that. And so anyway, so I saw that, and so I turned around and started walking towards him. Then he, finishes getting a drink from the water fountain, and and then I'm walking towards him, and he kind of like, he's up, and I'm like, and I put on my hand, I shook his hand, I put my other hand on his shoulder, and I said, brother, you have nothing to fear from me. And the look in his face, it was so weird because I just wanted to assure this dude, like, I know he was told, because he was like a ministerial servant, if I had to guess. I don't know for sure. Um, but it was obvious he had been told to keep an eye on me. And I was like, what am I possibly gonna do to you? It was just kind of crazy. So that paranoia, that cult, whatever you want to call it, I definitely saw that in full effect. And I just wanted to kind of relay that. And then after the meeting was down, I was talking to a few people. The guy that's probably the Kobe, the coordinator of the Body of Elders, I noticed he was hanging out just within earshot to hear what I was talking to people about. And so it's obvious that they've been, they've talked about me in particular. But I didn't really raise up any issues, and I did. They asked if I just stopped in or something, and I did tell them that I talked with Larry and Fred about mediatorship and all this. So I told them why how I knew a couple of the guys that were there, and of course that sent a few of them that I was talking with looking through their online library trying to figure out the references I gave them and being confused because it didn't match up with what the Bible said. Go figure, right? Just what I said, right? Like, and so I got talking with Larry, the other elder, the one that I took the video of just a little bit ago. And I wasn't going to record a thing because I got to be honest with you, I still I don't like recording, and I was only going to record when I'm talking about someone where I was trying to see if they knew about the child abuse. That's my main concern as far as their cult goes, is trying to expose the child abuse because of I went through 10 years of being raped and beaten. So obviously it's important to me, right? And I wasn't going to record anything until when I was talking to him and I said, "Hey," I asked him if he would discuss the Bible with me, and he said, "We got this certain method, and we got to use this certain book." And I said, "Well, let's just use the Bible. Let's just use what God's word is. Like, can you just discuss the Bible with me and just use the Bible, only the Bible?" And I had my Bible with a cross in the front of it with me too, and I held it up like in his face. It was not in his face, but like so he could clearly see it. It was kind of funny. Like it was funny to me just because I know what I would have been thinking as a kid that grew up in that, right? And it was I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't going to record anything until he told me, and at least he told me to my face, right? He was like, "You're being prideful because you want to just use the Bible." And and shortly after that is when I started recording, and that's when I rehashed it and got him to reiterate it, to say it, to kind of say that also. I think in the other video shows that. So yeah, I just wanted to say that I wanted to see for myself the mind control there, the cult programming type thing, and it was surprising me for someone that's been away from it since 1995. Um, like it was a little surprising to see that, because I've been away so long. And the other thing that really struck me, especially during the Watchtower study, the thing that really struck me, I brought this up in one of the other videos when I was talking to a guy, was the Gnosticism. It is amazing to me. It really is a rehashing of the Gnostic heresies of the first and second centuries, and the the way they word stuff, even some of the songs they sang, it could have been taken right from the Gnostic playbook back in the day. Like it was really surprising to me. And for a lot of you, I know that's not going to mean much. Like I know there's plenty of extra DWs that um, are atheist or agnostic or um, and plenty. And there's still plenty that believe in the Bible, like myself too. And for a very long time, I just didn't know or didn't care. And I also want to be clear that I have equal love for all of you. I don't give a flying fuck what you believe. We've been through some stuff, and I think we should all have each other's back. And the foremost command is love. And I am all about that. There's no reason why we can't come together in love. And I just wanted to express that. Um, and if anyone ever wants to tell me something or get in contact with me, just let me know, and I can do whatever. I want in some way to let my story, let my life help others, and that's about it. But just wanted to relay my thoughts on it and experience from this evening while it was still fresh. So I guess that's about it. This is Guardian Fury, and see you later.